Welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. Today's video is on summary writing techniques, and our focus is going to be on 6 key methods of reducing words. You know, a summary is a brief statement of the main ideas in a given text or passage. And so the emphasis in summary writing is on reducing words rather than increasing them. So I'm going to show you 6 key methods of reducing words. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. You will also find a bell icon. Click on it, and that will ensure that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be notified instantly. Having said this, let's dive into the lesson right away. Now, as I earlier mentioned, in summarizing a text, the emphasis is on reducing words rather than increasing them. You might be given a passage of 1 or 2 pages or more, and then you are required to summarize the entire passage or text in a few sentences. So the emphasis is on reducing words rather than increasing them. So what is key here is your ability to identify the main ideas in the passage, extract them, and present them precisely in your own words. So in this lesson, you will learn various methods of reducing words. Now let's go ahead and look at these methods of reducing words, all right? The first method is reducing clauses to phrases, all right? And we want to look at some specific examples of how this can be done. Now, let's look at this first example. We call it clause 1, all right? Well, I want you to see it quite clearly, all right? Okay, so we want to look at these various methods. And the first example here is well, let's get it right. Clause 1. Let's look at this example. We want to look at a clause, then we'll want to look at how we can reduce the clause into a phrase. Now, the first one here is, because she had a fever, Mary was unable to attend the seminar. Here we have 12 words, all right? This is a clause. Of course, you discover that this is a complex sentence, and the clause here is because she had a fever. If we can reduce this clause to a phrase, that will help us to reduce the number of words, all right? Then we also look at some other things we can reduce. For instance, these 2 words we can reduce to 1. So how do we do it? Because she had a fever, we reduce it to being ill, all right? Of course, someone who has a fever is ill. So being ill, Mary couldn't. So instead of saying was unable to, we reduce the 3 words into couldn't, all right? When you are unable to do something, it means you can't do it. If you were unable to do something, it means you couldn't. So Mary was unable to, so she couldn't. You can see these are word reduction techniques, methods of reducing words. So what do we have here? Being ill, Mary couldn't attend the seminar, and so we have 7 words. You can see how we use this method to eliminate 5 words out of 12, and then we are left with 7. And with this, you have reconstructed this sentence into your own sentence, still retaining the same idea. All right? So that is how to reduce words. Let's look at the second example, which we call clauses 2. All right? He arrived at the airport 30 minutes late. This is a main clause. All right? Well, let's change the color of this marker. He arrived at the airport 30 minutes late. So we can change this to arriving the airport late. We have to reduce some details. All right? Summarizing is about removing details and extracting the main idea. So he arrived at the airport 30 minutes late. The idea is that he arrived late at the airport. That's just what it means. And so we reduce this to arriving the airport late. So again, you see here that we are changing a main clause into a subordinate clause. We are reconstructing the sentence. Your ability to reconstruct sentences is key to summarizing, all right? In other words, while you are reducing words, you are also paraphrasing, all right? I want you to understand one key thing that you ought to know when you are summarizing, and that is paraphrasing, all right? That is paraphrasing. Well, paraphrasing very key technique when it comes to summarizing. Okay, paraphrasing. I want you to take note of this. This is very important in summary writing. Now, paraphrasing has to do with reconstructing a sentence, changing the structure, and then replacing words with their synonyms, and sometimes just reconstructing the sentence. So the whole idea of restructuring the sentence, reconstructing the sentence is what paraphrasing is about. And so when you are summarizing, you need word reduction methods, and you need also the skill of paraphrasing. So he arrived at the airport 30 minutes late is reduced and reconstructed to arriving the airport late. You see? So this is where we reduce the words. And then we remove so here because we are already beginning with a subordinate clause, and all we need is a comma. All right? Arriving the airport late, he missed his flight. Now, I want you to understand that this is what is called a participle clause. All right? A participle clause is a clause that begins with a participle, is a subordinate clause that begins with a participle. That is a participle clause. If you check the description section, you will find a video I uploaded recently on participle clauses. All right, that will help you, because when you learn how to change other types of clauses into participle clauses, it helps you to paraphrase, it helps you to reduce words. All right, so you can see that in this use of clause, because this resembles a phrase, that you can see that this has gone beyond a phrase. It is actually a participle clause that resembles a phrase. is a very effective way of reducing words. So you can reduce clauses to phrases. You can also reduce clauses to shorter types of clauses, some longer types of clauses to some shorter types of clauses, all right? Such as reducing a main clause here into a participle clause. In the first example, we reduced a subordinate clause into a phrase, all right? So these are word reduction techniques. Now let's go to the second method, all right? Let's look at the second method, and that is reducing phrases to words. So let's look at how we can reduce phrases to words. Phrases 1, with a big megaphone, the pastor was able to talk to a great multitude of people at the stadium. Now, this is made up of 19 words. And then, you know, the phrase we want to look at is a great multitude of people, great multitude of people. All right. Now, when you look at great multitude of people, and then we look at was able to, again, was able to, we can, you know, reduce it. Then talk to, we can change this to address. When you talk to people, you address them. All right. So let's look at how we do this. With a megaphone, we retain this. The pastor could, you see, we change was able to could. We change talk to address, all right? Then we change a great multitude. We change great multitude of people to a large audience, large audience. We can even remove large and we are left with audience, but because the idea of multitude and the idea of great here all suggest a large audience. So we use it because this looks like a tautology, great multitude. That means a very large crowd, all right? But because these people are a group of people listening to a speaker, then we name them audience because that's the appropriate name. So in reducing words and in summarizing and in paraphrasing, you need a large active vocabulary, all right? This is very important. So here we are reducing 19 words to 13 words, and that means we are able to eliminate 6 words, which is quite substantial in word reduction, all right? Then let's look at the second example. Being very grieved, the widow wept, refusing to be consoled. So the phrase here, being very grieved, we want to reduce it to a single word, grieved. Then the widow wept, we return that. Then refusing to be consoled, again, this is a phrase we reduce to one word, inconsolably, all right? So here we have 10 words in the original, and then when we reduce the words, we have 5. And so grieved, the widow wept inconsolably. That means you can't console her, refusing to be consoled, unable to be consoled, inconsolably, all right? So that is a very, very smart way of reducing words, paraphrasing the entire expression, and, you know, giving it a very professional touch. You can see we reduce the expression into half. 10 words now are reduced to 5 words, and yet we retain the original idea of that expression. That's exactly what summarizing is all about, okay? Now, let's look at the next method. Let's look at the next method, and that is reducing sentences. We want to look at sentences and then we look at how to reduce them. Sentence 1 contains 12 words. Being a woman whose husband has died, Rose certainly needs our support. All right. So here you see we are changing this. Being a woman whose husband has died, we want to reduce this into 2 words because that is certainly a widow. A woman whose husband has died is a widow. So we reduce that to a widow. Now, we eliminate these unnecessary words. You know, this is a modifier. And in summarizing, you eliminate modifier as much as possible. So you eliminate modifiers. So what do we have here? We are reducing 12 words to 6. And what we have here is a widow. Rose needs our support. Rose needs our support. 6 words. Then the second example, Mary is a member of the group of young men and women that usually lead the singing of songs in the church. Here we have 22 words. Now, Rose is a member. We return that. But we are looking at the group of young men and women that usually lead the singing of songs in the church. All right. And we have a word that replaces this group of people, and that is simply the choir. All right. The choir, or a choir, is a group of young men and women. Usually it could be just only men, it could be just only women, but we know it's a group of people that sing songs. All right. A group of singers in the church is always referred to as the choir. All right. So here we have 22 words, and then we simply reduce it to 7 words. Mary is a member of the choir. All right. So we have 7 words. You can see very powerful methods of reducing words. Now let's look at the next example. All right. Let's look at the next example. All right. Okay. And that is method number 4. Here we have changing perfect tenses to simple tenses. Of course, you can eliminate just a single word, but that's okay. All right. And then you look for any other unnecessary words if there are any. And once you remove those unnecessary words and change the perfect tenses into the simple tenses, that will help you in reducing words. But here, we may not have other unnecessary words, but we look at how to change the perfect tense into the simple tense. For example, the bandits have kidnapped many students from the village. Now, when you have a perfect tense, you have to include have or had, depending on whether present or past, perfect. So we only eliminate this. All right. Once we eliminate this, then we are left with 8 words. The bandits kidnapped many students from the village. Now, if we remove the modifier here, which is many, then we will be left with 7 words. So the bandits kidnapped students from the village. All right. And so we have 7 words. If we eliminate this modifier here, which is actually unnecessary, what we need is the key idea that the bandits kidnapped students from the village. All right. So that can, help you in reducing words. All right. So that's the way it is. Okay. So now let's look at the next example, and that is method number 5, changing passive verbs to active verbs. Let's look at how to do this. For example, the book was written by Adichie. We have 6 words. This is a passive verb, was written, shows that this is in the passive voice. This is a passive verb. And so here we change it to the active, and what we have is Adichie wrote this book. So we are reducing 6 words to 4 words. All right. So you can see example, you have seen from this example that this is really a very helpful way of reducing words. Then method number, yes, we have seen number 5. Then the last method, which is method number 6, is removing modifiers and other unnecessary words. Even though we have, we earlier saw that, we have to look at it further. Now let's look at 3 different examples. Example number 1, your own bag is green in color, but my own is blue in color. So your own bag, this is unnecessary. Your bag can do. Green in color, all right? This is tautological, all right? Once you have green is enough. So in color is unnecessary. Own is unnecessary. And then my own, this is also unnecessary. And once we have blue here, then this is also unnecessary. So you can see removing modifiers and other unnecessary words, your ability to identify the key words, the important words, and then remove the unimportant words. That will help you to reduce words. And this technique helps us to reduce 14 words to 8 words. So instead of saying your own bag is green in color, but my own is blue in color, we rewrite this as your bag is green, but mine is blue. Very, very excellent, very clear, very good. This is excellent, all right? An excellent way of reducing words. Example number 2, it is an indisputable fact that Henry was killed by electric current. Now, it is an indisputable fact is an unnecessary expression. We have to reduce it. All right? An indisputable fact that all these are unnecessary, so we eliminate them completely. The fact is that Henry was killed by electric current, but then by electric current can be replaced by the word electrocuted. All right, so we rewrite this, Henry was electrocuted. This is how we reduce 12 words to only 3 words, all right? Now, the third example, the man who spoke to us at the seminar, all right? Now, somebody who speaks at the seminar is a speaker. So we replace this with the speaker, all right? Didn't make his voice loud enough for everybody to hear what he was saying, all right? Didn't make his voice. So you see again, volumes of unnecessary words that we can replace with a single word or just a few words. So if he didn't make his voice loud enough for everybody to hear what he was saying, it simply means that he was inaudible. So here we replace the other volume with the speaker, and we replace this with was inaudible. So what do we have here? In the original expression, we have 23 words. and then we rewrite this in 10 words. The speaker at the seminar was inaudible. That's just the very precise way to put it. So with this, we draw the curtain in today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. We looked at 6 key methods. We looked at 6 key methods of reducing words, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be notified instantly. If you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. I want to thank you for being part of today's video, and I want to thank all of you out there who have given your massive support to this channel. I want to say I love all of you and I wish you well. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye for now and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video. Thank you and